And we're live. Welcome to the latest edition of Ammonize with Lee Rickler and with my client of this week, Maggie, who I am really looking forward to dealing with because it's the kind of business that affects so many people. There's a lot of people these days who are blogging or aspiring to be bloggers, and I know that this is going to be a show that is really useful for a lot of people. So, please, Maggie, introduce yourself.
So I am Maggie. Maggie Unzueta. Most people are like, Maggie, you, and they usually refer to me. Yes, it's me. My blog is in MamaMaggie'skitchen.com. It's mama, like in Spanish, mama, but most people don't really know that. So they'll spell it M-O-M-A or M-O-M-M-A or M something. But anyways, I am in Coronado, San Diego, California, living beach life, eating and drinking, and blogging about it. So, and getting paid for being a blogger is probably the most, one of those things in life where I can't believe people, and I have people who follow me, which thank you so much if you do. I love that. I love talking to people who, follow me on Twitter or Facebook or G+ or anywhere. It's like, hi, who are you? Talk to me. I want to talk to you. Yes, and I'm a bit of a goofball, so if you know me, you know my little hats. Okay, that's enough about me.
And for those who were watching last week, you'll know that I now have my glamorous technical assistant joining me each week. Lee, say hello.
Hello. Yeah, just for this week, I'm for Kevin Burns. Actually, I'm wearing me best Sunday 5 o'clock shadow, and I'm from London. I'm in cold, miserable London, which is pretty grey. And yeah, we've just come back from the park actually. But I run a company called Point of Stare, it's an online development agency. So knowing about blogging and talking to clients about blogging is part of my everyday.
Excellent. So, let's start out with a little bit of fact-finding. So, first things first, Maggie, where does the money come from? At the moment, what's your main revenue stream?
The number one question that I get from people who want to start a blog is, how do you make money off of blogging? There are a bazillion ways, and what might be working for me, money-wise, might not necessarily be working for somebody else. So for me, I'll just talk for how I make money. I do have ads on my blog, so if you go in MamaMaggie'skitchen.com, you'll see some ads on the website. So I have on the website I have a recipes section, and I also have a wine section, and you'll see that there are different ads on each of those. You'll also see some ads at the bottom. Ads is one way, and everyone will talk about that. I just got accepted into an ad campaign company that I'm just like, oh my god, I love you, thank you, because I've been waiting forever to do this. Of course, you have to show that you have the stats in order to bring people to those ads. If not, no one's going to want to, be on your website. Okay, so ads is one way. Sponsored campaigns, sponsored posts, people pay you to put something on your website for them, mention what you're using, what product you're using. I have several campaign companies that I work with that are they're paying me very nicely just to create recipes using their products. The one thing, and this is where I'll get into this in a minute actually. I'll just mention it. It's usually something that I have to believe in. It has to be a product that I identify with, that I know that I can use and that I love. That's me, because this is such a big part of what I do. And if I don't like it, I don't put it on my site. So I do usually talk to your PR reps, and I mention this to them. Look, if I don't approve of this, I don't like it for whatever reason, it's not going to go on here. So you can send me your product, but I need to be able to love it. Okay, how else do I make money? Oh God, there are affiliate links. So if you go on to some of my recipes, I just published something today which I haven't even circulated, but you see grilled fish tacos, which are fantastic, by the way. yeah, humbly speaking. But if you go on there, you'll see on the ingredients. So fish, olive oil, and if you hover over olive oil, you'll see that it's a link to something, to where you can purchase it and blah blah blah. How else do I make money? Oh, my associations from MamaMaggie's Kitchen. I love food photography. I've taken food photography lessons from professional food photographers. I mean, I've oh yeah, I love photography. And if you know me and you follow me, you know that I'm all about food porn. I'm all about the food porn. Yeah, show me good pictures. So I'm really yeah. My food photography is great, I think. I'm sorry. Again, humbly speaking, of course, right? Humbly speaking. But anyway, so people will pay me to go and take pictures of their food. It could be a big brand, and I'll take a picture. That's nicely paid, by the way. The other thing is, I take pictures of wine too. So also wine blogger, right? So and that's a little more difficult. That's a little more complex. In fact, my food photographer professional friend who gave me lessons, I still talk to him to how are we going to cover this glare? Sometimes they'll want to have a wine picture out on the beach. I live here on the beach, so hey, but the sun is coming in here, and they want it there, and blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, how are we going to reflect that? So how else? Oh, so recipe development. That's another one. Brands, again, they contact you. They say, hey, please develop a recipe. That's a big moneymaker. And I also do have on the side. I do social media for people. Not a lot of people actually know that. I'm sharing my secrets with you on being ammonized. Anyway, so yeah, so I do social media on the side for people. Small businesses will come to me and say, you have so many people, so many page views. Can you do that for me? So I go and I manage their G+ accounts and all the different social media networks I belong to. So. Okay, there you go. Okay. That's it, I think. Oh, and I have cookbooks. I have 3 cookbooks. Oh, thank you. That's a big one. I have 3 cookbooks that I wrote. They're all ebooks, though, but I do make money off of them. So.
Okay, but as yet you haven't started doing cookery videos.
Videos? I do have the cooking show, if that's what you're asking. You're talking about like cooking, like
sell.
What's that?
To sell as a product.
To sell? No, I have not.
Ah, you see, you should be repurposing those and putting them together into cookery shows. Okay, so we've got quite a lot of different revenue streams there, including consulting ones, blog ones, and kind of in the middle, which are the cookbook ones.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. What was the rough order of the how much they draw? Which of those is your main bread and butter?
You're asking the tough questions here. It depends. Sometimes in MamaMaggie's Kitchen, and what the entity of in MamaMaggie's Kitchen is, that will make more money than the social media. But the social media sometimes will pay more. So last month I made more off of in MamaMaggie's Kitchen. The month before that, May, I made more money off of social media. So the two kind of, they fight. They fight. I would love one day, I hope none of my clients are actually, no one's listening to what I'm about to say, but I would like to leave social media at one point or another and just strictly focus on the website, because it really does, this takes away so much of my time. And I do have a team actually that works with me, people who help me with social media, and it's great. I do enjoy it. I know that I'm good at it, obviously. I have all these people who, who follow me and how to create a presence online. But this is really my love, So if I'm going and I'm focusing here on the website, my biggest revenue is probably, it comes from maybe the pictures and the social, probably the pictures, taking pictures, professional pictures, and also from sponsored posts and some of the campaigns that I work with.
Okay. So really a lot of the income between managing social media and doing sort of client work that way and taking pictures of other people's food, that's probably just about the majority of the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So one of the things that I'm getting that you'd like to do more of is actually have the blog driving a larger proportion of the income.
Yes.
So that, because that's more scalable. You can put your time into the blog and it can keep growing as long as the traffic keeps going there, whereas you've only got one pair of hands to operate a camera or to be working on social media.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, you got it.
So, next tough question. Where's the blog traffic coming from at the moment?
Where's the what?
The blog traffic. Where are you getting your traffic from at the moment?
I have... Oh, here's Lee. Hopefully. Are you coming in? Yay! Oh, we can't hear you.
He's muted at the moment. Hold on.
I'm unmuted. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, goodness me.
So I'm surrounded by British men, right?
Yeah.
A very difficult problem to have, let me tell you.
Well, glad we got you in at last, Lee. I know you've had murder just the Wi-Fi at the hotel.
Oh, yeah, terrible, absolutely awful. So apologies for my tardiness.
No problem at all. So, Maggie was just talking about where the traffic to her blog is coming from.
Okay, that's interesting.
So my social media drives my traffic. I eventually, because I'm building my website, most of my traffic comes in from Pinterest, from G+, from Twitter. I would love to, and again, I'm building my website, so I would like to just have organically people visit my website without me really pushing them to it. And that's a lot of what I do right now. Is I'm constantly socializing with people. Hey, check out this recipe I just wrote. I wrote a grilled fish tacos recipe. You're gonna love it. So yeah, so that's really how I get my traffic.
But that's pretty intensive if you're having to kind of go out on social media all the time to get those people interested. So one of the things that we definitely would want to do is have search driving a bigger proportion of that traffic.
You see my phone? It is, yeah, you can see me in the glare there. Yeah, this phone, I live on my phone. And that's like every blogger out there knows this. It's like we are constantly on our phones, you know, socializing, tweeting. And like I said, I love my followers. They're great, because sometimes they'll tweet me questions like, you know, hey, I'm eating this fish dinner, and you know, what can I pair it with this? And I love that. It's like, oh wait, yeah, I can tell you what to drink. So yeah, I am constantly socializing.
The thing, I completely get that, because I like, from a personal perspective, to have traffic which is organic. Certainly from like doing Hangouts and Tweet Up or something like that, right? Because you can see a spike in traffic when it happens. The problem is, as Eamon was just saying, it's extremely resource heavy, and the other issue is it's not very scalable, right? Because as soon as you stop doing what you're doing, then the traffic stops. All right,
yeah.
And then it goes back up again, and you feel like you need to be. And actually, what you then tend to find, and certainly from my perspective, is that you can't step away to kind of manage the business or look at new things, because you feel you have to be involved in the conversation constantly, which is is good, because you enjoy it. You can see that passion in your eyes and all that kind of stuff, right? But as soon as you step away, it's like, and then you're thinking, okay, maybe I better just leave my phone on in case I miss something. That's really important. You've got these notifications going off 24/7, and as that Eamon saying is like, if you can get from the search and the organic side of things, as well as the overlap from the social side of things, and see where that sweet spot is,
Yes.
I think you're going to get some difference showing.
And I that's what I want to do one day. Come on, Google. Come on, Google.
Well, okay, so let's look at what needs to be done to get that search traffic coming in.
Okay.
The first thing is that you need to do a little bit of keyword research to find what in particular the search traffic is interested in. So you'll get things like, certainly, easy Mexican cooking, easy Mexican recipes, guacamole recipes, and what you need to do is do a little bit of keyword research in that area, or hire a firm to do it for you, so that you can find out which particular kinds of recipes and which particular phrases people are already searching for, so that you can create content around those topics. Okay. So that you'll be giving your own take on the things that they really want to know. Basically, it's what we do in marketing. We first try and understand where the market is, what the market wants, and then we provide it to them in a way that makes us money.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
The blog at the moment is a little bit code heavy. Now, my wonderful technical assistant was taking a look at the blog himself earlier, and he's very good on these. So, Lee, do you want to give us a quick overview of what you found on the blog and what you thought of it?
Yeah, just reading my notes here so I don't forget anything really. Overall, the theme you're using works fine. I reckon it's a bit code heavy. There's a lot of stuff in there that you're not using on your site itself. I run it through a few security checks. There's no malware, there's no viruses or anything like that embedded in the code, and the back-end WordPress, the core itself, is bang up to date. There's a few options, as I said, in the theme that you're not really using, like the social icons. I know you've got them around the bottom, but I think you're using a plugin for them. So technically there's two plugins, so you could strip that one out and use the ones in the theme. The plugin sorry, go on.
Sorry to interrupt you, because
that's okay.
Code heavy or head heavy. What did you call that? What is that?
Code heavy.
English.
When you look at your site in a browser, you right-click on it and say View Source. The source code is about 4 times the size of the page.
Okay.
Now, ideally, you really only want it to be a maximum of about 3 times the size of the page, and the closer you can get it to the actual size of the page, the better. But there's a lot of extra code in there. There's a lot of things like you've got script embedded in the page instead of as an external script. Usually these are extra files that it pulls in. It does this with various style sheets and with JavaScript. They're external files, so it means it has to load them the very first page they look at, but for every page after that, the browser has cached them, so every page is faster.
That's okay. Sorry, this just kind of is all making sense to me. You have to understand that I designed this website by myself, if you can't tell, and I changed it late last year to add my ads, because that's my moneymaker. So it had this really cool slider going, and it was just a really neat website. But I had to take down the slider just to make room for more ads, and yeah, so I had to change it up a little bit. And I'm kind of disappointed because I really worked really hard on that slider, but it is what it is.
I mean, there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. It just needs putting on a diet. That's all. And there is a lot of stuff that, eating too much of your good food, I think it was. And if you rip things out that are not necessarily needed, and like plugins and stuff like that, they won't be loading their own scripts, and therefore it'd be a little less slimmer. Using social stickers as a plugin you're using, but there's also already a social plugin embedded in that theme. And you are using Super Cache, but if you got rid of all this stuff you don't need to use, then you won't be using Super Cache as well.
Oh, you see, but hold on. I just got conflicting. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Okay.
But you see, because someone said I needed the super cache, but you're telling me that because I'm using these plugins and all this other stuff, I can take this away?
Technically, yes. It depends.
Most of the time,
yeah.
I'd say you could. The one thing I would say is because you use social media to drive a lot of your traffic, I personally would keep the WP cache in there, because if you suddenly do get a big hit on one of the social networks and lots of people reshare it, and you suddenly get 1,000 people visiting in 1 hour, you're going to need that cache plugin.
It's, I personally have to say this. I do not like this plugin. It is not my favorite thing because I constantly have to be refreshing my cache in order even just to see my website. And it is such a pain in the, what. Sorry, I got a child next door. But I can understand just for what Amy just said, yeah, definitely. I could see why it's important.
There are other ways of getting around that, but that's for another hangout completely. That's not marketing or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are things that can be done at the back end. There's ways of getting custom programming into a site where it spots when there's a trend of upward traffic on a site, and then it caches. But that would be something you'd want a programmer to add to it, really.
There's also a few little changes you can possibly. I don't know this theme, so you might not be able to do it. I'm not quite sure. On the main image, where you've got your list of the latest articles, if you click on that, it opens up a bigger window, a modal window. You don't need that. What you should be is that links to the article itself. I mean, I could write all this out in non-geeklish later on, if you like. And the excerpts themselves, which are under the main images, they're just taking content from the article itself. Again, if they were more keyword heavy, maybe more succinct, then it gives me a better idea of what the recipe is about. Do I like it? Do I not like it? Do I want to follow through? But the images, I would say, is the main thing that makes it, and all the images are lovely that I've seen.
Yeah. In fact, I'd almost like to see a little bit more imagery across the site as a whole. I think some of it's quite minimalist.
Very image-driven, isn't it, food?
Yeah.
It's what attracts us more than anything, I think.
Yeah. And I also found one thing that really works for food bloggers is never be afraid to describe aroma.
True.
Huh.
There's a reason for this. Your sense of smell is one of the most potent of them all for going straight to your mind.
Mm.
Yeah.
You can smell a garden and suddenly instantly be back visiting your grandparents. You can just describe certain smells, the smell of baking bread, and you're there, you can smell it. There's a reason that when you want to sell a house, you make it smell of coffee and fresh bread, because those things instantly speak of home comforts. So
it's interesting that you mentioned that, because as a wine blogger, you describe the bouquet. It's the bouquet is blah, 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 blah. And I instantly, when I'm writing, my wine reviews, I talk about, because that to me is such an important part of it. But when I'm writing about food, I get into food mode. I don't necessarily talk about what it smells like, but that's a very good point.
You need to get into the umami, I think it's called, or umami.
What's that now?
Yeah, that's blown everybody. Nobody knows what the hell that means. I didn't know it till the other day, and I thought I'd be clever and say it.
Now you've dug yourself a hole, Lee.
It's
out of that.
Well, according to Wikipedia, and of course this is in my head, I'm not reading it off the other machine over here at all. It's a loan word from Japanese, can be translated as pleasant, savoury taste.
Ooh,
so essentially it's talking about the taste itself, the aroma, what it actually brings to you in your mouth, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, talking about which parts of the palate something hits. And that works for smell as well as for taste, and it gives that emotional connection. It makes people imagine it, and if they imagine it, they become much more engaged by the content. So definitely, in writing about food, always include things about the aromas. Always include that kind of thing, and you'll find it just hits that little bit harder.
I mean, from from another aspect, and I'm sure it's probably already been discussed, but when you're describing that aroma, you're also capturing certain long tail queries as well of people that are searching potentially for those phrases.
Huh. Things I never thought. That's why I'm here. Yeah.
So yeah, certainly, get some of those recipes in. I would say another thing that would be a huge driver for traffic for the blog. How much do you use email at the moment?
Oh gosh, really? Oh, you're talking about my email list, or are you talking about me personally? It's just
your
my
email list.
I email maybe once a week, once a month. I don't do, and I post maybe 3 to 4 times a week, sometimes 5 depending on what I'm doing, but I post a lot, and I understand that there are different ways to set up your email list, and the programs, the different programs out there, and I use Weber, which I love. But anyway, so I just send out once a month just because I don't really want to hit them with so much information. Because personally, when I follow a blogger and I start, and I've unsubscribed to some email list just because I don't want to receive a constant recipe or a constant post, and I don't like that. So once a month, that's the answer.
Okay, once a month's good, but what you should be doing there is basically making a magazine. So that monthly one is highlighting lots of different content. It's like a whole magazine of all the different things you've covered in a month, and try and put it together in that way where it's got that little editorial and it's put together in a nice way, so you're thinking of, this is my monthly magazine. You're repurposing each of those little posts you've done into one overall rounded thing, because there's people who will subscribe to that who wouldn't necessarily follow every single post, but that becomes their monthly magazine.
Mm.
I like that. I never really thought of it that way.
And that one.
Sorry. Delay. I do have a question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm talking to a few British men here. I'm not complaining about that at all. Trust me.
Careful.
But I no, right? Careful. Oh, we lost Maggie and Swetha. Where'd she go? It's like, and oh no. So I'm Mexican, as I'm sure you guys probably found out. Going through my blog, and I'm a native Spanish speaker. That is my native tongue. And yes, I'm Mexican. It's my little sombrero. Yes, I'm not. Yes. Anyways, I'm a goofball. If you know me, I'm a complete goofball, and I'm really trying to tame this down right now. Trying to stay, keep it a la British. Sorry, lots of jokes going through my head right now. Okay, so I am constantly torn by people and different campaign groups and PR reps say, hey, you should be posting more in Spanish, and I don't blog in Spanish. If anything, I will blog a bilingual kind of thing. It's like I'll add in a phrase that's Spanish and a phrase that's English and another phrase that's in Spanish, and it just kind of goes. And the only reason that I do that is because I want to attract both cultures, both groups of people, and yeah, hopefully everyone's happy. And I've seen it where people will blog in English, and then down at the bottom it'll be in Spanish. And I was talking to someone recently who is a big PR person, and well, anyways, so what he suggested was do that, to do the half and half, and I thought, oh yeah, it sounds like a great idea. But those of you who blog understand my dilemma. It is, we're talking about blogging here, it's writing a post and making sure the pictures go together. The last thing I want to do is go out there and rewrite this whole post in Spanish, which, don't get me wrong, again, native tongue, I can do it, don't get me wrong, but it's just more work.
But it is hard. It is hard. And
Yeah.
a whole new audience.
Well, and I know that I have a big, Latino following, and I love my Latino peeps. When I get a Spanish comment, it's like, ah. But anyway, so I want to hit that demographic, that of people. I want to hit them. Yes, definitely. And I do want them to, especially with most of the recipes that that I create. Grilled fish tacos, for Pete's sake. Oh, and it has a chipotle mayo sauce. I published it today and I haven't circulated. I'm really excited about it. So
this is one of those things, again, you let the market dictate when. Because your English audience are going to be searching for different things to your Mexican audience. After all, if you're selling Mexican food, to the Mexicans, that's just food. It's not Mexican food anymore. That's just food. So what they're looking for is those home cooking recipes, like Mama used to make. Whereas the English-speaking audience, it's much more going to be that taste they want. That to them, it's exotic food. So do you see what I mean? There's two different markets there, and the way you'd present the recipes you were doing would be different as well. And I think sometimes you're going to alternate between the two.
So here's my concern. Since I want more organic traffic, how do I do that with blogging in both? Let's say I do, because I will. I mean, I'm obviously going to have to go to do the blogging of English and Spanish and do the half and half. So how do I do that for Bing? How do I do that with driving organic traffic?
Okay. To be
do
cynical.
I have to worry about this? Like, how does this work? Someone is pinging us. Oh, yeah. Lee.
To be cynical, I would blog first in English, because you will find somebody who will translate from English to Spanish cheaper than you'll find somebody who will translate from Spanish to English, which means you can outsource it more easily if you need to, because that again is a way of growing where you only have to write the post once and somebody else can do the translation while you're sorting the images.
Okay.
Definitely. And within WordPress itself, it's very easy to do a multilingual site. I'm working on one at the moment, and in the past I've worked on one that had about seven or eight languages. There's a plugin you can buy. It's very cheap. You install it. You write everything in English. Once you've done that, you just hit duplicate, and it pulls everything over, all your images, everything. Then you just change the text to Spanish. You're easy.
Kidding me. Okay, you need to send me that plugin. You need to tell me what I want that plugin.
Yeah.
I mean, I would change just because of all the opportunities that I've been getting from different. I mean, and which is great. And I love knowing that I can appeal to the Latino, my fellow Latinos. It'd be great. But less work, please. I mean, I post 3 to 5 times a week. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. But once you've done all the layout and everything, and you've done it all in English, got it all perfect, exactly how you like it, then you just simply duplicate that and then translate that into Spanish. You could even outsource that. There's even a module within the plugin itself where you can just outsource it to whoever it is you're outsourcing it to. They'll deliver a file. You just import the file, and it's done.
Yeah.
That's just... yeah, love it. Yes, please send that to me. That is
definitely.
Just...
Yep.
Okay, so
there's a plugin for everything.
At the moment, you say you're posting 3 to 5 times a week. If you're going to do this to get the blog as your main income stream, where this is your business, then you're really looking at more like blogging twice a day.
Yeah.
These don't have to be huge posts, but it could be that you do a simple dessert and a wine in one day, and another day it would be a major recipe and just a short post about one of the wines that you really like with it.
Okay, hold on, because we're talking. I mean, my understanding is that you needed at least 300 words in order for it to be indexed by Google, right?
No, it really varies. A good post is certainly that little bit longer, but if somebody searches for, who said the man who... think of quotations, right? If you're searching for a quote, how long does the page have to be? It has to be the one sentence quote and the name. And maybe what year and circumstance it was in. 2 paragraphs maximum. That's a great result, and Google returns that result.
Right.
So it depends on what you're doing. Now, certainly, if I'm looking for a full recipe for doing, a pepper steak with roast potatoes and whatever, I'm going to expect more than 200 words, really. In that kind of thing, I'm certainly going to want more walkthrough. So, because other sites that are doing well are longer, your article would have to be longer. This is partly how Google can recognize what's doing well in search and how well your page matches the ones that are already doing well, and decide, yeah, that's going to do okay, or no, that one's not going to be good enough.
So let me go back. Twice a day. even thinking just, of course, like what you said, it just depends. Why? I mean, because I'm starting to understand that I might just have to go to everyday post. But I didn't think twice. So you're kind of, you're scaring me here. Okay. No.
Think of the meal posts you do now, the recipe posts you do now. One of those a day, fine, but it would need to be one of those every day. Not one of those one day and then a little post about a wine the next day and something small the next day and then another big one. It would need to be one good piece of content a day. This is a job. It is going to be work.
And this is my job. This is my job. And a lot of people think, oh, you have a blog. It's like, trust me, I love my blog. I work on my blog every day. There is not one day I don't sit there and I'm not taking pictures. I mean, I'll be at dinner just hanging out with friends, and it's like, oh, let's take some pictures and let's send it to people. I mean, it is constantly on my mind. But then again, and I understand what you're trying to tell me here. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I would rather, instead of 2 posts, I would rather do 1 nice post a day.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. One thing is that I'd say those images that you're often taking of food, are you building up your own stock library that people can buy from you?
I've never done that. That is a great idea. That is a great idea. And I take pictures all the time. In fact, most of the time, I'll just take pictures. Some bloggers, I've talked to different bloggers about this, where we're just taking pictures of random stuff, and I put them into my archive of photos. And I have different archives of my photos, so whenever I need, let's say, a picture of garlic, I have 20 pictures of garlic.
Yeah.
And I just go into my archive. But I never thought about selling them. That is brilliant.
Well, you definitely should.
But where? Hold on a second. So I don't want to sell them. That's the other thing, is that I love my pictures and I take very good pictures. So I don't really want to sell them to a stock.
You don't have to sell them all, but you know how it is. You're doing a photo shoot, or even of food. You'll take 20, maybe even 30 photos to get that one shot you like.
Yeah.
So you keep the one and you put the other 19 in that archive.
Yeah. Yeah. But where? I guess I could look into it as to where to sell those pictures. But that's something that's brilliant. I never thought of that.
Well, definitely you can sell it to some of those sites anyway. But what I'd say is some of those things that are, like the garlic, like an onion, like the things that are in lots of different recipes. Think about putting them into a pack where people can download the whole pack for $10.
Yeah.
And it's a food blogger starter pack.
Never thought of that. Here's my other question, and I kind of started talking to you on chat about this. I've talked to quite a few people who are more in the affiliate marketing world, and when it comes to affiliate marketing, it's like bloggers kind of go, and they've all said, Maggie, to really make money off of a website, you should join and do a membership site. And I'm not sure how much you've read about me, but I was a teacher, and this was, of course, in another lifetime, a bazillion years ago. I mean, we're talking about 10, 12 years ago. So I would love to do something like that, where I actually teach people how to cook. Yeah, that would be wonderful. I would love to do some video. And I don't mind being on camera. Like, this is cool. Like, I love it. It's like I just zany, wacky Maggie. It's fine. But if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. So should be the other way around, shouldn't it? But anyway, so yeah, membership sites. I'm clueless. And at first, I have this big tour that I'm going to. I'm doing this little tiny hat tour thing that I would great. And I was thinking, as soon as I come back, I'll get started and I'll look into how to do a membership site. But when I come back, it's going to be the height of the holiday season, and I know I'm going to get packed. So while I've got you two experts here, I need some help with how do I even start something like this? Or do you even advise that, should I do it?
I'm always in a bit of a mixed mind about it, because in one sense what happens is you start doing the membership site, the paid site. That's where you've got to then focus on content, which means that the open site, the one that's drawing all the traffic to that, suddenly gets less and less of that marketing material, because you've got less time to write that great stuff that was getting people interested in buying something in the first place. So until you can really almost duplicate yourself and give up the rest of your work to work full-time, so that you can do, okay, one public post and whatever is needed in the membership site, I'd say don't go there, because you'll be robbing your own marketing channel to get it. However,
yeah, that's a good point.
What you can do, and I would seriously look into this, is find a hotel that would let you hire the kitchen in the off-season, and they can put people up, and you can take 10 places, 10 people come to study and work in the kitchen with you and learn all the secrets, the core skills of Mexican cooking in 1 week intensive course. So they understand the basic flavor groups, they understand the basic techniques that are behind so many different dishes, and they learn several signature dishes. So there's lessons each day, plus there's some time out enjoying the area and sampling some wines and tasting some of the food. But you do a week-long intensive course for which you charge several thousand, and people will come to that.
That is really cool.
And you only have to do that once or twice a year, and that's your kind of like your real members retreat. Do you think people would come to see me? So yes, self-improvement is a huge market, and whatever that skill is that people want to learn, they're passionate about it.
Yeah.
And then you record that session as well, and then you use that on the website at a later date, and you repurpose all that content and syndicate that out in podcast and whatever else.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Yeah, I like all of this. But let's go back to the membership site. You're saying
building up that video library so that you can do the video cookery courses.
I have some video that I've recorded, and I even have another book that I wrote that I haven't even published, and they're just kind of sitting there. I sat there every single day recording or videoing me making stuff, and I just have never circulated it. And everybody's telling me you should, put this out there, but I need someone to come in and edit it. And it's one of those things. It's just kind of just sitting there, And the nice thing about food is that you can make it today, and you can make it 20 years from now. And there's another book that I just finished writing that I just finished formatting, and I have to go put it onto Amazon. But something else is pulling me away. So yes.
We've got a lot of people watching today, hopefully, and some more usually catch up during the week. So if anyone does cheap translations or helps with video editing, Maggie could probably do with a proposal. So get in touch with her. Let her know what you can do for her if you can help her out.
Yes, I forget that we're live here. I feel like I'm just chatting.
We're just hanging out.
So,
we are. We're just hanging out. We're hanging out.
that gives you so much content, and one of the key things here, always as a solopreneur, is work out how you can do something once and then sell it 6 or 7 different ways. So
Ooh,
that
I need to quote
week-intensive
you.
course where people are in, you make sure that's all videoed, and that can then be a DVD course that can be sold.
I love that. I love that idea. That's brilliant. And, you know, and this is another reason why I did this, because a lot of bloggers don't really think this way. You know, I get people will call me and tell me things, and they'll, you know, and I'll listen. I'll be like, oh, that sounds interesting. But I don't think bloggers, for the most part, will listen to any of this kind of stuff. So do we have any comments?
We've got loads of comments. Yep. Shall I bring one of them up? This one here from Doc Sheldon. He's done English and Spanish blogs in the area, in San Diego, and he was dumbfounded at how much more organic traffic was achievable through the Latino market. He says that your site was, you'd be surprised how much more traffic you could get.
Yeah, and always part of the thing is that often it's a smaller market. You know, the English language market is very big. People, even in countries where it's not their native language, are still trying to compete for that English language market. Whereas there's a lot less competition some of the time for the Hispanic markets, for the Latino markets. So, yeah, it's sometimes easier to get traction in those, and it's a little bit less competition.
Never thought about that. Isn't that? I love this. Thank you.
But that, again, is one of those things. So what you might want to do to make this scalable in the meantime is, you know, we were talking about, you know, you're working every day and you're doing a weekly recap as well as your monthly magazine. What you could do is alternate weeks. So one week it's much more about Mexican food and Mexican influenced food from that taste of home market. So it's for the Latino market. It's the food that they want, and some of that is going to be fusions of their food and other food, and some of it's going to be very much that taste of home or that lost recipe that the family used to have, grandma used to make, but nobody ever got it down.
So I know I'm Mexican. Trust me, I know I'm Mexican, and I know. Si, senor. No, but anyway, so I do have other recipes that are not Mexican whatsoever. You know, I do have some traditional American. In fact, fish tacos are not Mexican, by the way. Even though Mexicans do make tacos that are with fish, and you know, but what people think of as far as fish tacos were from San Diego. Anyways, but I do have other recipes. Like I have some Asian recipes, and I have some Middle Eastern recipes up there, and you know, I just have a lot of different recipes.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of people, when they Google me, they'll find, you know, the easy Mexican cooking or something like that, and they'll find me. So, yeah.
I think sometimes it's like I say, find a market, find particular areas that people are looking for. So it could be that you find there's a lot of search going on for Cajun, and there's a definite gap in the market there. When you look at what comes up for those searches, it's good, but you could beat it. Okay, so that's the kind of thing where you go, right, I'm going to do a Cajun week. And another week, you're looking at French cuisine. Maybe you're doing, you know, a traditional Spanish, American Spanish fusion. So you're looking at the two sides of it. So it's kind of the Americanized Spanish dishes, but taken back to its roots a little bit more. So it's a mix between the two, because you know how it is. English cooking like this, you know, we have Chinese and Indian food here that doesn't exist in India or China. You know, it's an anglicized version.
Yeah. Actually, here's something for everyone. Burritos are not Mexican. Who knew?
So it's one of those kind of things that you need to do that little bit of keyword research, or hire a company to do it for you, to find opportunities for the kind of content people are looking for that you can beat what's out there at the moment, because those are the easy wins, those are the low-hanging fruit.
Yes. I need help with keyword searches. Anyone? Going once.
You can actually probably pick up an awful lot of it. You know, there's so many SEO forums that talk about keyword research and how they do it. you could probably pick up enough of the basics, even in just some of the blogger community where they're talking about the elements, you know, the basic elements of SEO.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of just looking for how do I optimize my content that I've got, what you're doing is you're instead saying, right, let's look at keyword researches. I go into Google AdWords Planner, and that gives me an idea of what kind of volume of search is going on for various things, so I can look them up, see which have the volume to count, and then look at the results themselves to see, okay, yeah, it's got lots of searches, but wow, the content there is really good, so maybe it's not such a great opportunity. But another one, yeah, it hasn't got as many searches, but what's there is very poor. Not many people have covered this recipe. It's very basic. So, you know, that's where you'd be going, right, great, perfect opportunity to come in.
I'm loving everything I'm hearing. I can't wait to watch. I'm going to be watching this replay like 5 times, taking notes.
But I would do this thing of try and pick a theme for a week, and follow that theme a bit, because that way your weekly roundups are standalone products on their own. When somebody is searching for that whole theme, your weekly roundup post is the one coming up.
Huh. Yeah, I've seen other bloggers do it. I've never personally done it, but I can understand why someone would do it. Yeah,
because that gives you your daily post for those who want to come into the blog every day, but it gives you your weekly post for people who kind of, it's a weekend ritual. You're hitting different kind of rituals, and you've got that monthly one, which is the whole roundup, that really nice magazine style format. That's just the really polished one. It's so accessible to people, and that it makes them take time over it. And you're packaging, you're doing the posts anyway, but you're getting to repackage them and reach different audiences each time.
That's a great idea. I never really thought of it in that way. So that's great.
And one of the great things of that is that you could decide, okay, well, one of those days, instead of doing a post where there's a lot of writing involved, okay, one of those posts I'll do a HOA instead. I'll record cooking a recipe. Now I've got video content. The video content can go on my blog along with a little bit of the notes and write up, because that's quite easy to do. I don't have to worry about the photography because I've got the whole video there. But now that video is also going into your library.
Right.
And that's the part where, to get all of your archives of videos, that's where they pay for membership. You might only keep the videos live for 6 months or a year.
Yeah, okay. Mentally jotting all this down. Wheels are turning over here.
Okay, so let's quickly recap. We definitely want the blog to become a much bigger part of your business, because that's the part that's most scalable. You write that blog and 1,000 people can serve themselves with the content, and especially when you're adding in the extra parts. Supplementing that with education because you love it, and I think one thing to try would be, why not do a 5-person one-day cookery course just to gauge the market on that. And if you can get 5 people to sign up for one day, you know that you could get 10 people to sign up for a week if you had a whole 6 months to promote it.
Right.
Okay?
Right, sounds great.
Now, doing that, you've got that, still got that face-to-face contact, you've got the teaching you love, but you're also getting video content from that, which you've got enough in that whole week of footage to sell as a standalone cookery course, as a video cookery course.
Yeah. I love all of this. This is all great. I really, really do like all of it. Very excited. I'm very excited about all of this, because it's the more I go into blogging, and I think I get pulled in so many different directions. Everybody wants a piece of me, and it's tough to kind of decide, okay, am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? Am I not going to do this? And that's why I have my team that helps me take care of social media. But it's getting to the point where I need someone to help me here in MamaMaggie's kitchen.
Yeah.
And someone just to look through all these opportunities that are presented to me. try out this recipe, or come and try out for this, or will you attend that? And it's all fun. It really is. It's a lot of fun, and I'm interested in everything. Unfortunately, how to figure out which one is best for me and my brand, because this really is a brand. It's a business for me. So, yeah.
Yeah, but Denver just added in the chat, and don't forget that your video, even though it's being sold, is another link back to your website. It's driving a whole new set of customers, because if that catches on, especially if it's being sold through Amazon or something like that, you could actually sell it as a DVD, then
Right.
you know, this is something that is again driving traffic and bringing new engagement and new followers into your circle.
Yeah, yeah, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. It's nice to get it from a different perspective, I have to say, because bloggers tend to talk to other bloggers, and it's like I need somebody away from this to kind of just look in and say, you're forgetting this, and that's exactly. I've always known that it had to do something with video and somewhere in this, but I never really thought about putting a course together like this, which I would love. I'd love to do that.
I think people just love that idea of being able to get a whole package. You know, watching a show, that's fine. But having a whole cookery course that they can go through in their own time, I think that's absolute gold for a lot of people, because it is so much easier to follow along with the video sometimes. I've got recipe books, and some of them are good, and some of them aren't. And there's particular recipes where, yeah, it says do this thing, and maybe it even shows diagrams of something, but it's not the same as being able to watch somebody do it.
Right.
And try it out, yeah. It does seem to me, Maggie, like your key point and the bit you love is gathering the content. The rest of it, actually, what you do, how you get that content out, is the bit that's lacking. It's not your focus. And maybe get the team on that. Focus on one area and just get the team to take this content. What do you reckon we should do with it?
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Don't forget, of course, that the thing with your week's course is you could probably subsidize one place as a prize. So for people that were particularly, you know, promoting your content or helping you throughout the year, you could give them a free place on that course. So an 11th place, most of the time, the hotel is going to give you a deal because you're driving 10 bookings at a time or more, and hiring the kitchen. Whether it's their kitchen or a kitchen nearby, it doesn't really matter, but they're already going to give you a deal. Throwing in a free room so that you can take one extra person, yeah, they're not going to take anything against that, so you can actually give away a free place on your course.
Right. Ah, that's great. That's great. I love all these things. I love all these great ideas.
And to start off with, you could, Denver, Prophet Jr. Recommends calling Commander's Palace, New Orleans, because he knows a sous chef. So I don't know where that place is around your area. Yeah.
Yeah, a little far.
Right.
A little far from Coronado, but are you kidding me? I love New Orleans. It's gorgeous.
Well, actually, I mean, for the thing of the course, it would be a really good idea to mix it up and to do it in different cities and to do the cooking there. So it was the flavour of that city. So why not? You go to New Orleans when you're going to do your Cajun or your French cuisine.
Yes. Oh, that is a really good idea. That's a really good idea.
And that way you get a holiday out of it too.
Yes.
But you get to take your class out and explore the city and the flavours and the feeling of that city and how it all ties into the food.
Right.
As part of the
great.
course.
That's a great idea. I can't wait to watch this in the replay. This is great.
Well, we're coming close to the end of time, unfortunately. Really sorry that Lee Smallwood, of course, was having real bad issues today. I think he's currently strangling somebody in a hotel in England for the bad Wi-Fi. But I'm sure he will catch up in the comments, and anything you can do to help will help. There's plenty of support in the comments, and as I said, you know, anyone that can offer Maggie any help, any encouragement, yeah, please do that. I'm sure Maggie will be diving into the comments and taking you herself later. Maggie, would you like to finish up with any words before we go for the week?
Not really, other than, oh wait, what am I thinking? Larry is going to kill me if I don't mention this. And Chef, what am I thinking? So, as most of you know, I'm a regular on Good Day Google Plus, so that is this upcoming Friday. I'll be back on with Chef Dennis, and on next Sunday, Larry Fanili and I are going to be having another Cuentos de Nuestra Comida. It's our bilingual cooking show. That's next Sunday. I'm going to be making some healthy Mexican food with quinoa, so I'm excited about that. And just check me out in Mama Maggie's kitchen. So I'm always around. If you ever need me, just ping me.
You had me right up until you described the food as healthy.
It's delicious. How about that? And it smells incredible.
Lee, anything you want to say before we head off for the week?
I've got a ton of stuff coming up this week, but of course, priority number one is going through Maggie's site and digging out some good recipes.
Thank you, Lee.
I know you're with Nick Rink.
Yeah, we've got UK Biz Hangouts. We're sorting out in about a week or two, I think, September the 2nd. But other than that, there's just loads and loads of work to catch up on.
Excellent. Well, I'll be on Susie Chat on Tuesday. There's a hangout on Wednesday, and of course next Sunday we'll be doing the replay and going into all the details of this. Maggie, if you're at all free during any of that time, I will make sure that there's a seat waiting for you. But until then, thanks everyone for joining us. Have a good week.
Bye.
See ya.
You.